You're good.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Sidney Chocolos. Hey Sydney.
Hey Jennifer, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Good. Well, Sydney is with Marathon Marketing and Branding, and we had such a great conversation about Facebook and getting leads and things like that. I'm glad you agreed to come on and kind of share some of the stuff with my fellow realtors. So, can you just tell us a little bit about your company and then just the tips that you shared with me?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi everybody. My name is Sidney Chocolos. I'm the founder of Marathon Marketing and Branding. I am a social media marketing agency. I offer social media management services in addition to coaching services, and then I also offer a one content creation boot camp. So there's a number of different ways that people are able to work with me. I really specialize in working with brick and mortars and service-based businesses. So realtors included
Yay.
in that. And
Exactly.
then a fun fact, I was telling Jennifer when we chatted, my mom is actually a real estate agent. So I've had the pleasure of learning about social media for realtors
Hmm.
and helping my mom as she has started to market her business more on social media because that's a new space for
I
her.
know
So
it's a new space for me too. I mean, I know we talked about this when you and I chatted, but it was like, oh man, it's a big space to start diving into for sure.
yes, and there's so many platforms,
Yeah,
and there's just a lot to learn about how everything works. I
right.
think one of the biggest things, I mean, because social media is constantly changing, and that's why people are able to come to me and ask those types of questions. But one space that has really changed a lot recently is the real estate industry.
Hmm.
Because, and I know you and I were chatting about getting leads.
Right.
Uh, First and foremost, just to share a little bit of insight with you guys really quickly about the Facebook algorithm. If you are just posting to your Facebook business page, it is actually only organically reaching about 5 to 6% of the people that follow your page. So
Which
just
is so
because,
frustrating
yeah.
because that's new, right?
So it's been over the last couple years. I would
Okay.
say a lot of business owners are really starting to see that drop
Hmm.
recently, going like, what's going on with my engagement? Am I doing
Hmm.
something wrong? And the answer is you're probably not doing something wrong. It's just not getting in front of the eyes of a lot of people.
Right.
So what I always recommend for realtors, if you're wanting to get the most out of social media, is to have an ads strategy,
Hmm.
because there are so many people on the Facebook platform. You can run ads now simultaneously on Facebook and Instagram since
Hmm.
Facebook owns Instagram.
Right. Which is awesome. It's a two for one.
Yes, it makes it, I mean, it's a big time saver.
Yeah.
And so it's a great way, running ads is a great way to build brand awareness.
Hmm.
So people are learning about you and seeing your face, so you can run brand awareness campaigns. But the other type of campaign is a traffic campaign where you are driving people to your website and driving them to take action. So a lot of realtors on their page have something where you can enter your email address to either get the latest updates about the market or new
Right.
listings, or maybe you want to know more about an area. And so driving people to those free tools that you have where they can get value in exchange for giving their email
Hmm.
gives you that avenue to collect them as a lead, but also you're serving them in a way by
Right.
getting them valuable
Right.
information.
That's why they gave it to you, and then you're
Yep.
giving them something back. Right. Exactly.
Exactly. And and so one of the things that I know some people have gotten really frustrated with, so when you're running Facebook ads, you have to check a box that acknowledges that you understand that you are running ads for real estate and that you are following Facebook's non-discriminatory policies.
Right.
Mouthful there.
Yeah.
Uh, and what that means is you can't discriminate based off of age, gender,
Right.
sex, income,
Right.
all of that.
Yeah.
And so you used to be able, so let's say I'm a real estate agent and I specialize in a couple of neighborhoods in the area. Like I've
Hmm.
had a ton of listings in these neighborhoods, so I'm going to run ads to them.
Yeah.
You cannot target by zip code anymore.
That's terrible.
It's just part of the change. And you
Yeah.
cannot target based off of age. So you can't say, I'm just going to target people that are 30 to 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're doing 18 and older.
Wow.
And a lot of these special segments that you used to be able to target by, whether that was income brackets or certain pages they follow, it's gotten very strict about what you can actually select in that targeting.
So how are you, like, because part of one of your services that you do offer is like creating these ads. So like, how are you, I mean, I assume that you're able to help, like, kind of not necessarily get around those things, but even like figure out how to target the people that we're actually trying to target. Like an 18-year-old is not going to buy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a $500,000 house.
Exactly. So there's a couple things I do. One, there are thousands of detailed demographics and statistics or pages people like that you
Mm,
can start to target. And it's all about experimenting with what is allowed to be fully transparent. So if
yeah.
somebody likes a page like Home Depot or
Hmm.
Lowe's, there's a good chance, a lot of homeowners go to Home
Go
Depot
there,
or
right?
Lowe's, things like
Right.
that. The other thing is you can still target based off of an area, and it
Okay.
just has to be within a 15-mile radius
But
of
this
that
is
area.
why we like hire you. Because it's like, this is, I don't want to think about this stuff. Like, I would rather just like get the leads, call the leads, and like be done with it. You know
You
what I
just
mean?
have them flowing in.
Right, exactly. You can deal with like where they're going and like what it needs to say and all that.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
there's other places, I'm assuming, and in most people's businesses where you are driving people to your website.
Right.
And so one of the things that I also highly, highly recommend, and I do for my clients, is I help them get a Facebook pixel
Okay.
set up on their website.
I have no idea what
Um,
that is.
so a Facebook pixel, it is that thing that you can put, it's a little bit of code that goes
Okay.
on your website. My mom just reached out to her web developer and gave them the code to add.
Okay.
Uh, they should be very familiar with the
Okay.
Facebook pixel installation. And then Facebook actually tracks the people that land on your website.
Okay. Nice.
So then you can actually target people that have been on your website before.
Great.
So you can get really smart about who your ads are running to. And
Yeah.
when you're running your ads to people that have already visited your website, that's already a warm audience. That's someone that's already
Right.
familiar
And
with
they've already like seen you and then adding that extra bit of,
you.
they're like, oh, wow, this person's everywhere. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I always equate it to like that creepy, like if you're on a website
Right.
shopping from an Instagram ad and then you decide not to buy it, you're like, I'm going to save my money. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden your Instagram has 5 ads from them.
Right.
That is the Facebook pixel at work.
That's awesome when you're using it for yourself, but it feels super evil when you receive it. That's so,
It's like a little creepy.
it's super creepy, yeah. So you have services for us as realtors all the way from like tutorials and classes where if there are people that want to do it themselves, they can do it. But if I was the real estate coach, I would tell them they just need to hire you and not do it. But they can, and you
Just
teach
save their
that.
time.
Right. Like they need to sell, not, do these types of marketing things. It's very different.
Yeah.
How can people learn more about like all the other things that you offer? And if they want to have a more in-depth conversation, because we just don't have time to tell them all the stuff. I mean, we were on the phone for like
Yeah.
over an hour last time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I offer so if you go to my website marathonmarketingbranding.com,
Hmm.
there is a link there. You can either fill out my contact form or I actually have a link where you can directly book a discovery call where we'll chat a little bit more about what you're needing. I
Nice.
have basic social media management packages, but for people that don't want to invest in a full-scale social media manager,
Hmm.
they can let me know what their needs are and I can set up individual ads for them and monitor them and give them reports.
Hmm.
That typically your ads need to run for at least a month.
Okay.
And I would
That's not
say,
very long. I mean,
yeah. And it's a good test period just to figure out what is working initially and then
Okay.
build upon that and improve the ads going forward.
Yeah.
And if you haven't had a Facebook pixel installed on your website, that takes a little bit more time to get a really great audience from, because you've got to have people coming in and out of your website. The
Yeah.
pixel doesn't retroactively track people
Got it.
that had been coming previously.
Okay.
Um, but I
That
always
makes
say,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And I always say if you have ideally plan to budget about $10 a day
Okay. For
for
the
your
30
ad.
days. Okay.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think this, this is really good if people are like, they're getting a little bit of traction on like their social media presence, but then it's like, okay, they know, like for me, it was like, I know I need to do something else, but it's like, what is that thing,
Yeah.
And that's when like, I think just booking a discovery call with you would be really helpful, because it is
Yeah.
tailored to wherever they are on their path and kind of what they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I won't get too much in depth with this, but it's not just about getting the ad and getting the email, but there's also the strategy once you have their email
What do you
and how to
do?
nurture that lead too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so
So
that's
you're
also something I can work with people on to build that strategy out as well. Because once you have someone's email address, then you can drive them to to your social pages and
right.
get their attention there as well. So there's a couple of different things you can do.
Do with that. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and I know people will find it helpful. Thank you so much, Sydney.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a good one.
You too.